In another video, we examined types of fire alarms and the locations where they should be installed to provide best protection in a domestic property. Let's now look at how a typical system can be installed and set up in an existing property. In this case, it's most likely that the alarm will be powered from a lighting circuit. You should only carry out this work if you're a competent person with regards to electrical work and well aware of all the relevant electrical standards. It's also worth checking with your electrical scheme provider whether they expect local isolation to be provided for each alarm being installed. Before starting work, remember to always adopt the safe isolation procedure. For this alarm, we're going to feed from a junction box behind this light. The alarm must be a minimum of 30 centimeters from any light source. Here we're going to make a hole large enough for the cable to pass through and use the supplied raw plugs to mount the wireless base. If it's necessary to ensure the integrity of fire protection of the building structure, it may be necessary to use a dry lining box, incorporating an intumescent seal. Once the holes have been marked and drilled, the cable can be run from the junction box to the hole. Notice that the central hole is offset to allow the cable easier access to the connection block. It will be necessary to strip and prepare the cable at both ends, and then first connect it to the junction box. Before connecting the cable to the base plate, it will be necessary to undertake any necessary electrical testing, such as earth continuity. In this case, the line conductor and circuit protective conductor for the lighting circuit are connected together at the distribution board, with the main protective bonding conductors disconnected, and a continuity reading taken at the end of the new piece of wiring. This reading confirms the continuity of the protective conductor and also provides a value which can be used, when added to ZE, as the earth fault loop impedance value for the circuit if it's the highest value taken. The base plate can now be connected to the wiring by using the screwless connector. It may sometimes be necessary to use a pair of long-nosed pliers to do this, as long as you're careful not to damage the insulation. The wireless base can then be fixed to the ceiling. Where it's not possible to get access to the void behind a lighting circuit, you can run the cable through trunking to the device. Here, a small bit of chasing in the ceiling has enabled the connection of the cable to the ceiling rows. Once all other bases have been fixed, you can undertake the insulation resistance test on the circuits you've added devices to. This can be done by connecting the line and neutral of the lighting circuit to be tested together, and then testing between these and the main earthing terminal, with all protective conductors connected and, of course, all light switches on. The first test should be undertaken at 250 volts. This will be an additional precaution to make sure any electronic devices connected will not be damaged. If you get an acceptable value of insulation, you can then test again at 500 volts. When you've completed the electrical tests, the alarm detectors can be fitted to the bases like this. If you need to remove a base, you will need to slot in a screwdriver to enable the detector to slide away from the base. As soon as an alarm head connects to a base, its battery will become active. The mains power can now be restored. Each device should then display a yellow and green LED, which will be on constantly. Please note that only a maximum of 15 wireless devices can be connected. Now pick one device to be your master device, ideally one centrally positioned so that all other device signals can be picked up. Press and hold the Enroll button until the amber LED flashes. This should be around 5 seconds. The amber will flash 2 seconds off and 2 seconds on. The green LED will flash off once in every 4 seconds. You now have 10 minutes to visit each device you wish to add before the Enroll mode times out. However, it is possible to save and continue as required. At each device you wish to add, press and release the Enroll button. The amber LED will flash off for 1 second in every 4. When the device has picked up the signal and registered correctly with the master device, the amber light will start to flash rapidly. The number of flashes gives an indication of signal level, usually between 2 and 6 times, 6 being the strongest. Now press and release the Enroll button again. The amber light will flash continuously, indicating that the system is in Enroll mode. At the next device, press and release the Enroll button. Amber flashes off 1 in every 4 seconds, until the device has registered with the master, when the amber light starts to flash rapidly. Press and release the Enroll button again to confirm the connection of the device. When you've added all the required remote units, return to the master device and press and release the Enroll button. If all has worked perfectly, all units will have no amber LED, and the green will flash off for 1 second in every 10. This system also allows connection of wireless accessories, such as a remote test and hush unit. This should be done once the alarm detectors have finished being enrolled. To do this, select the appropriate base you wish to enroll to, usually the master, press the Enroll button for 1 second, then press the Test button of the hush unit. Wait for the amber LED to flash rapidly on the wireless base, and then press the Enroll button again for 1 second to confirm. If for any reason the wireless setup needs to be reset, this can be done by visiting each device in turn and pressing and holding the Function button for 4 seconds, and then pressing the Enroll button as well for 10 seconds and wait for the amber LED to flash rapidly. Then release. When the enrollment process is completed, the operation of the system can be checked by pressing the Test button on each device in turn to see if all other devices sound, therefore proving the interconnection. Finally, it's essential to label up the distribution board to identify which circuits now have alarms connected and could therefore be affected by operation of the protective device. Also to fill in any necessary certification for the electrical modifications and for the commissioning of the fire alarm. It's also good practice to make sure the master device can be identified. After explaining how the alarm works to the occupier or landlord and how the alarm should be maintained and cleaned, it is essential to also leave instructional documentation of the property. For further guidance on specifying and installing an alarm system, please visit our website.